When we decided we were coming to Los Angeles, the first person we reached out to was Frank Caliendo. Frank was in our New York studios at the time, and we said we're going to go to Los Angeles. And we said, well, maybe we'll get Frank to come over. Because when you have Frank, you have a lot of guests. And we always appreciate that.
And they're all better than me. All the voices I do.
Nobody ever has you on, right?
Nobody. That's my whole life. My whole life is, wow, could you bring some of your quote-unquote friends with you? Nobody cares about your opinions, Frank. Anything that you have to say will be trumped by you contorting your larynx somehow.
What if you just said, I'm not doing impersonations? Like, we had Glenn Fry, the Eagles, on, and he said, I'm not singing or playing guitar.
Yeah, I mean, I years ago, I talked about it with Kimmel. We were talking about it back and forth. It's like, I should have you on and just have you not do impressions. And I should just never work again then. Because people will see that and then not want me. I mean, that's the thing. You walk that line, right, when you're me of what you're trying to do is entertain people, but you're trying to be somewhere in Hollywood, too. You know, you're trying to further your career, I guess, and I'm using fake quotes. But it's one of those things, like I'm trying to sell tickets too. Like when I'm doing on the road, I've got to be on 100% the whole time I'm on the radio because people are just listening and they're tuning in, tuning out and going. So you just got to be on constantly. And then people are like, he's like that all the time. This guy, he sucks. Can you imagine being around Caliendo? He just does Madden all the time. Madden hasn't even been on television for like 100 years. Television hasn't been around for 100 years. What are you talking about? You think you got kinescopes of John Madden? So here's one of those moments, and this is one of those moments where people still, this is, like, you never know when somebody's, people always think I'm going to be I'm not going to do that impression for you, something like that. I have no problem. It's better than you suck. Remember, like when the baseball playoffs on TBS years ago, I once got into an elevator and guy goes, "You ruined the baseball playoffs for me," because those promos for me were on every second. I'm like, I didn't schedule the promos. I did them all. I didn't say no to anything.
Yeah, but it's like when people say you work for DirecTV. Hey, I got a question about my cable.
Right.
Like I don't do that.
Right.
I can't help you with it.
They assume that you are working in the management department and you're answering phones and everything. But the TSA guy last night, very nice, very polite. Legally, I think I have to say that. But I go through TSA and the guy goes, "Give me some Madden." And me, being the idiot that I am, not even thinking about it, I go, boom. The wrong thing to say.
Going through TSA.
And I remembered, and I haven't learned my lesson because I've done that before. Maybe 5 years ago, somebody said, "Give me a little Madden." I'm like, boom. I'm just thinking, why do I think it's just, is it that much of a reflex to me to just, so what I think is a bad idea is to use the word boom in the airport situation.
Can you do John Madden impersonation without saying boom?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even do it in my act and stuff like that. Like when I would do that on Fox and stuff, I would say boom because people were that and turducken. It was always like, it was like, what's going to be the joke based on a turducken? And when I didn't have it in the script, they're like, can you put it in there? But yeah, to me, the Madden even became, it wasn't even about John Madden anymore. It became this character that wasn't really John Madden. It was this guy who just, we're not even saying anything anymore. I mean, Will Sasso did on Mad TV with Kenny Rogers. Like, he turned Kenny Rogers into this guy that just wasn't even Ken. I'm Kenny Rogers. And it was the same thing we talked about, where it just, things become sounds. And when they're sounds, you don't even need the words anymore unless somebody intelligent's watching me. But it's just me going, I could have a conversation between Madden and Bush just going,
yeah. But if Madden and Chris Berman,
baby. I think that's an SOS. What? You're trapped on a deserted island? How am I going to get? No. Oh, you're just playing golf and everything's going to be okay. Are you wearing that Hawaiian shirt? You know, I understand what you're. It's the way that you. He gets so introspective.
And you got to throw in the Raiders, too.
The Raiders. It's that a dead G, man. Nobody circles the wagons.
like the Buffalo Bills. I still have no idea what that means. You guys may remember General Custer. You guys, but Custer in his final stand, he was by himself, and that's the way I feel right now. Still playing paper football with an invisible opponent.
See how much better this got when I wasn't me anymore?
I know.
I mean, I could see you guys. It's like the ventriloquist who doesn't use the dummy right away. Like, you get out there and like, is he just going to talk or is he going to stop moving his mouth and have the... Where's the puppet? Why isn't the puppet talking yet?
You waited, though. That may have been the longest you've gone without an impersonation,
You know
I think.
what? I read Twitter. I know that I have to try different stuff.
He's Frank Caliendo, performing all across the country this summer, including Providence, New Mexico, Fort Myers. Tickets going on sale this week for the fall when he heads to Atlanta and Charlotte. You can find out more visiting frankonstage.com. How tough is it to always be on, though?
Well, see, I'm not most of the time. Like when I walk in, it's funny because when I walk in and I'm backstage, a lot of the time people are like, "This is it." Wow, he's way shorter than I thought, and he's boring. So it's like I'm that way.
Can you sense when somebody's going, when they're thinking that, and then do you, the competitor in you, is like, all right, I'll show you. How about some of that?
See, I used to have that. I've kind of given up on that. I used to have a lot of that where I would go like, time to turn it on. And now I just go, I'll save it. I'll get on. When the camera's on, I'll go to get out there and whore it out, you know?
What about Letterman? Do you do David Letterman impersonation?
Yeah, and he had me do it the last time I was on. See, this is how pathetic I am in like the show business world.
Okay, hold on.
Is that a tease?
Yes.
Are we going to?
Yeah.
I felt it.
Why don't...
Bro, hold on.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys how to really go into a break.
Coming
up on the other side of this, how great is it going to be? Incredible. Phenomenal. Arugula. I tell you what, man. I stayed in Arugula one time. A tremendous vacation.
All right, do your Jim Rome and take us to break.
I think I just did that,
Oh,
Dan.
you did. Oh, that was Jim Rome.
Maybe you missed. Of course, it does bleed into the John Gruden right there. I'll tell you what, man. You just change it. Go back. We're going to be back on the other side of this while we pay some bills. Ridiculous.
Prior to the commercial break, Jim Rome teased that we were going to have this incredible David Letterman impersonation by Frank.
How great is that?
Yeah. So
he better not let you down. Caliendo doing the airport story, which finally broke into the Madden impression. Until then, terrible show.
All right, so
yeah, so I was on last time. It was funny because Jon Stewart was on the same show. He was like the lead guest, and I was the second guest. And then Letterman had Jon Stewart on for like 3 segments, which I've never seen that before. And they were like talking about, should we bump you on? I'm like, well, I told people I don't care. I'll go do 2 minutes, and I just pushed like 10 minutes, 10 minutes of stuff into that 2 minutes. I'm just like, I'm telling the audience not to laugh and clap and stuff like that. Like, stop. I got material. I've got to work in here. But I'm still back like 3 minutes ago when I'm going 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. Why doesn't he talk in other voices? They tend to know what they're talking about. So see what he did there was he went back in time. He broke the space-time continuum, man. Is this kind of like the
David Letterman
thing we're talking about? There we go.
David Letterman.
The first segment, solid.
Yeah, you
made
were.
sense all the way through.
Do you want to start this again?
At this point, can we do that?
All right.
Okay, incredible David Letterman impression. So Letterman has me do the impression of him, and I just, Paul, do you like cheeseburgers? Ooh. There's another one talking to Berman. I don't know who that was.
Did Letterman like it?
Oh yeah, he thinks I'm the best. Yeah,
because people don't normally.
It's a weird thing, especially in sports, because I bring it back to sports like we talked about off the air. I could tie it in. It's a weird thing. Guys are put on pedestals their entire lives. That's the thing with, like, when Gruden, I probably have talked about this with you before, but I don't think Gruden knew how to take me when he first met me. But now he sees where it's going, man.
But who had a tougher time of all the? Madden had a tough time with you in the beginning.
Yeah.
Berman had a tough time with you in the beginning, didn't he?
I'm not exactly sure. I think so, but I think it's just people are not used. One of the things that people worry about is this. They think it's going to hurt their prestige and their ability to go somewhere in the business and be taken seriously. And the thing is, if I'm doing that impression, there's already people out there that see some of the same kinds of things that I see. So, but that's a good thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you have those, like people will watch Groot now and say he's doing you. I'm like, I don't think he's any different than he was. He's just,
I was this way when I was working at Hooters, man. Tremendous fry cook. I tell you what, watch this. Done.
Did you ever get to the point where you were making fun of somebody?
I think I have, yeah. And that's one of the things where people, you have to be careful about that. You have to do it. You have to do it in fun.
I mean, George Bush, you're making fun of.
Well, it was easy. Yeah. I mean, that's. I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. It doesn't matter. It's like watching a cartoon. It really is. And people have always told me that when you'd meet him in person, he was totally different than off camera. Like part of the charm, even if you disagreed with his politics completely, is him I put my hand on your shoulder and suddenly you feel calm. I did that with Gaddafi fat, whatever his name is, So
are you hoping, Bill Clinton, that Hillary gets in the White House?
See how that was Freudian right there. I will be back and things will be fun this time. There's no rules. We're going to have a good time.
Well, can you imagine how much fun he'll have
if
Hillary's the president?
Oh, yeah. It's, where are you going? Hot tub again? Hey, I've seen the wall of morale. That thing's great.
What about, can you do female impressions?
No. I've never been able to. It's never been something that I could pull off. Even with this amazing look that I have, that seems like it would be perfect for it. No. It's like that's what... I always found Monty Python to be funny when they were doing legit. It wasn't specific impressions, but just in the drag kind of stuff. But I was never good at it, so I just stayed away. I mean, for me, that's part of probably the problem I've had in my career is I really try to do the things that I consider that work all the time instead of trying different things.
But you're also trying to take, like Morgan Freeman, you brought him into today's topics.
Yeah, without me, Morgan Freeman is nothing.
Yes.
Slowly, Frank began to realize he was full of crap. Where was it going with that? I've been in every movie ever made since 1975. Have
you done public address announcing where you get to introduce a team in a different voice?
I did the lineup for the Diamondbacks because they live out in Phoenix.
Oh, that was recently, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I think stuff like that's always fun. And so it's trying to find the people that everybody knows, though that's the difficult thing is you can't do like an experimental impression there because you need to hit the audience that's watching.
But wouldn't it be great if they didn't know? Let's say you did the Lakers,
right?
But we didn't know it was you, and you were, and you just like introduced Kobe, and you just picked somebody,
like a Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. So
and now the man who gets the ball every time down the court. It doesn't matter if you passed it to him or not. He's going to get it back. Kobe Bryant.
Just to see the audience's reaction, if they think Morgan Freeman's doing it,
right,
and how he would say it in his own words,
right? Yeah.
This guy never passes to his teammates because he doesn't think they're any good,
or do the Rockets. James Harden is going to dribble between his legs 12 times, do a step in, step out, try to get fouled, and if it doesn't, he's going to look at you with those eyes. It's going to be crazy, and you're going to know there's a bearded man who's angry at you. See, I listened. I did some what I call research.
Oh, wow!
I listened to
That's
the
rare.
Barkley.
What are you doing?
You don't even know me that well, and that is so true. By the way, I was stuck at the airport last night trying to coming in here, and I sent Fritzy an email because he won't give me his number to text him, and I know, and I tell him I'm stuck at the airport. There's no flight attendant. Trying to let him know, hey, there's a chance that something might happen. He's like, oh, everything will be great. Hang in there, buddy. See you in the morning. By the way, I got to get up at 3:30. I get this feel bad for me. The violins are out. He's like, I got to get up at 3:30. I know how you feel. I just wanted to know, not going to make it. What a
I couldn't accept that. You'll find a way. We'll see you in the morning.
yeah. I was so dismissed.
Fritzy's so sympathetic. Yes, McLovin.
I got to tell you, all dinner long, he keeps showing me his phone. He's like, "Oh no, Frank's not going to make it. Oh no, Frank's going to make it." He was on the verge of panic.
I got it to a
But
He's a good actor.
But honestly, I wanted a little bit of that.
I was feeling
I
it.
wanted a little drama.
I'm like, what do you mean the flight attendant didn't show up to your flight? Is there
Exactly
other
the
flights you
question
can get
I
on?
was asking all of the airport.
Frank, you're not doing any impersonations. Nobody cares about your life. Nobody cares.
Here's Glomer from Punky Brewster.
Punky buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, dude brought out the Glomer reference from 1980s Punky Brewster cartoons. Frank, what is next? Henry Warnemont from the live-action version of the show? Ridiculous. How about John Madden doing the Different Strokes theme? That'd be great. Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Who are you working on now?
Robert Downey Jr. is one, especially with Avengers being so big in those movies. Again, I don't know if I've told you about this because it's like a work in progress, but it's that all I have now is the setup for the joke. Since Iron Man and the Tony Stark character, that's how you see him all the time, right? He's a human Twitter feed. It's sarcastic, 140 characters or less, and everything's about him. It's like, these people deserve your applause almost as much as I do. Hashtag awesome. It's that da-da-da-da,
So the cadence.
Yeah, it's always cadence. It's always President Obama. Talk slow at the beginning and speed up at the end. That's it. Like, how many Christopher Walkens have you heard? Wow, that sounds great. Wow, it sounds great. It doesn't matter what the pitch is. It's that cadence. It's that speech pattern that lets you know who the person is.
Well, President Reagan was like that too.
Right. You looking for that? Oh, yeah. You could do a Reagan. Couldn't you do a Reagan?
Yeah, I can a little bit.
I could see you go. I could see you even looking. You could do the Reagan look.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
You know what? I just got set up. You set me up to nail it.
I did.
Wow, knocked it.
Do you do Jimmy Stewart?
How's it?
Did I just set you
how's
up
your
again?
Walter Brennan?
Yeah.
What year is this show broadcasting to? Is this one of those movies where you actually can somebody sits down at a ham radio and listens to the Dan Patrick Show in the 50s?
How about
Tanglefoot, the great Lou Gehrig?
How about Henry Fonda?
What?
How about Kate Hepburn? The loons, Norman. The loons. Your father, he loves you. He really does.
Hey, how about a little Charlie Chaplin, Chachi? Man, the first segment was good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The re-air, we'll cut out this second one.
That's good.
Don't you worry about it.
That's good.
He's Frank Caliendo. He's really good at the start of his stand-up performances. He tails off at the very end.
Now I'm making fun of myself a little bit, and then on Twitter's going to have to sit through that second segment. That's my Twitter feed is going to be, even Caliendo knew he was bombing. Did you hear the Danettes fake laughing to fill the void of silence?
Seton can fake laugh with the best of them. You need him in your audience, Frank. Frank will be performing all across the country this summer, including Providence, New Mexico, Fort Myers. Tickets go on sale this week for the fall when he heads to Atlanta and Charlotte. Find out more visiting Frank on Stage.
You know what? I think I tried to buy that years ago so somebody else couldn't.
FrankOnStage.com. Thank you, Frank.
Rack me out.
You are out.